Saying that the launch of Crimson Desert has been a bit of a mess wouldn't be wrong. A lot of people, me included, absolutely fell in love with the game, but there are some who really hate it, and the loudest voices are of course of the game journals. No surprise there, but more on that in just a bit. In the first 24 hours alone, the game sold over 2 million copies, followed by some refunds because of the unusual control scheme and some other glaring issues, most of which have been patched now by the way. But despite the refunds and the relentless attacks from the game journals from every angle, the game is still going strong. At the time of me making this video, Crimson Desert has already sold more than 3 million copies in less than a week. And not just that, it's consistently peaking at around 200,000 concurrent players on Steam, even on a weekday, which is impressive to say the least. Now, while the game did launch to mixed reviews on Steam, they've slowly turned into mostly positive. The score also continues to improve on Metacritic as well, and I think there are two big reasons for that. First, the devs have solved literally more than half the problems in the latest patch. Just look at all this. They added more fast travel locations, private storage, and indestructible brazier in front of the watchtower, reduced time to acquire knowledge, improved visuals of certain puzzles, and balanced some overpowered bosses. Cliff now also equips the memory helmet automatically when required, and the memory starts playing on its own instead of you having to go through a whole damn rigmarole. One thing that I appreciate the most is that they increased the amount of health restored by food. And on top of all that, they also improved some controls as well. Now, these might seem like small quality of life improvements, but when you put them all together, they make a huge difference. And to be very honest, it feels like playing a much better version of this game. It's just crazy how the devs are listening to feedback and patching the game at literally the speed of light, and this is something we definitely don't see every day in this industry. And not just that, the devs have also said that more fixes are on the way. So one thing's for sure, this game will probably keep improving with time, and for that, I respect the insanely talented devs at Pearl Abyss. Now the second reason is, and this might sound like bullshit and kinda hypocritical since I bashed Marathon for this exact reason, but Crimson Desert really does get better the more you play it. Just like Marathon, when I started playing Crimson Desert, I didn't really like it that much. Overwhelming systems, menus within menus within menus, and then there are the weird controls. During combat, I kept pressing the left stick to sprint, only to remember that just like in RDR2, I have to keep tapping the X button. I accidentally pressed L2 instead of L1 and shot an NPC in the face who I just wanted to talk to because there's no way of cancelling the draw, and I ended up with a bounty on my head at the very start of the game. Speaking of L1, that button does like 5 different things: aiming, learning, blocking, locking onto enemies, and also parrying. Just imagine, you have to let go of the L1 button to stop locking onto an enemy just to time a parry, only to press it again to lock on again, and the camera goes all over the place. To top it off, jumping and looting are both mapped to the square button, so most of the time I'm jumping around like an idiot instead of picking stuff up, which is incredibly frustrating. And don't even get me started on the stamina system. Literally doing anything in this game costs you stamina, whether it makes sense or not. Like, okay, I understand that sprinting and dodging and climbing consumes stamina, but why does gliding cost so much of it as well? I really hope they balance this in the later patches too. But you get the point. It was all just super weird and uncomfortable, and the first couple of hours with this game were a nightmare. So if you hate this game, I completely understand where you're coming from. But still, there's just something to it. I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't stop playing the game. I've been playing on the base PS5, and after playing for like 5 hours, I started getting hooked, and now almost 20 hours in, I think I love this game for what it is. And man, this is the first time in years that I just cannot stop playing a game until I get a headache. I literally just can't put my controller down. And when I'm not playing the game, all I can do is think about it. In fact, I'm thinking about it right now. I don't want to make this video, I just want to fire up the game and figure out what to do with this random Pearl Abyss artifact. I broke the goddamn crane. The thing is, and I'm sure you probably heard other people say this too, but this game genuinely makes me feel like a kid again. It reminded me of the times I played Just Cause 2 on my PS3, just exploring the open world, messing around, doing random shit most of the time. The only difference is that the world of Crimson Desert is specifically designed to reward exploration, and not gonna lie, it's so damn satisfying that I just cannot get enough of it. Like, I just climbed up this random bell tower, rang the bell, and a cutscene played where a mysterious kid appeared out of thin air. I greeted this random NPC and he shared a cooking recipe with me. Then there are these puzzles scattered around the map, and solving them awards you Abyss artifacts that can be used for upgrading. And small things like this make the world feel reactive and alive. Not to mention how the emotion captured, even the random NPC interactions, and all this makes the game feel very high quality. The open world design is the biggest strength of this game, and I have yet to come across a single thing that feels repetitive. There's no rinse and repeat side activities just to keep you busy. The map is not littered with 2 million feathers or animus fragments or any other pointless collectibles like a Ubisoft game. In fact, all the collectibles in this game serve a purpose, like for example the sealed abyss artifacts. Collecting them unlocks new challenges, some are easy, some are a pain in the ass, but completing those challenges gives you more abyss artifacts. The crazy thing is, I haven't even explored the whole region of Hernan, and it just blows my mind wondering what else is waiting for me in the other regions. The combat is solid, the music is great, the environments and the open world looks gorgeous. But is this the best game ever? Absolutely not. Crimson Desert has its flaws like every other game out there, and so far I have 3 major complaints with this game. First one is performance related. It's the blurry and grainy visuals on the base PS5. Now, performance-wise, the game runs just fine. I've been playing on quality mode and I haven't faced any noticeable frame rate drops no matter how much is happening on the screen, and that is impressive. However, the grainy shadows and the blurry visuals in some places is a bit of a problem. Now, just a disclaimer, my decade-old TV actually broke after I played Marathon. I mean, I'm not even kidding, that game literally broke my TV. So I hijacked my parents' 14-year-old LCD TV to play this game, and of course they hate me for it. But the point is, the grainy image quality might actually be attributed to the age of that TV. Now overall, the game does look gorgeous. The draw distance and the open world looks absolutely stunning, and I just keep stopping to take in the views. But in some places, especially in the darker environments like caves for example, where you'd need the light from your lantern, the game looks like absolute shit. There's no other way of putting it. For some reason, the lantern light is super bright red and the shadows are so damn flickery and everything just looks like a mess. Now it all gets surprisingly better in the performance mode, but the game itself doesn't look all that impressive, so I guess it's kind of a trade-off situation. I'm not sure if this can be patched or if it's the base PS5 hardware limitation, but I really hope they can figure it out as well, because as of now, the visuals are a constant reminder of not being able to afford a gaming PC. The second problem is the main protagonist, Cliff himself. This guy looks like an absolute badass, which I really appreciate, and I'm just thankful that I don't have to play as a bald disabled chick built like an oil tanker. But the guy is too much of a good Samaritan, just helping out everyone, being this all good guy, and it just feels out of character. I mean, dude, you lost your home, you lost your friends, you lost your life, and you came back from the dead, and your first priority should be to find the people who did this to you. I think right from the very start of the game, the main mission should be to find the Grey Maids, and Cliff should be laser focused on the task at hand. The quest should have been written in such a way that it feels like Cliff is having to help these people unwillingly to get information or resources or whatever. That would have made him the driving force behind the narrative, but right now it feels like he's being dragged along by the story. Which brings us to the third problem, the story itself. So far into the game, the story is basically non-existent. And while I was already expecting a subpar narrative, the starting hours are nothing more than finding some missing cows, finding some missing sheep, and fighting bandits. Maybe things pick up later down the road, but right now, that's just about it. What makes it bearable though is the high quality motion captured cutscenes and some okay English acting performances.
Something bad happened.
Yes, my Woolie's got sheep now, but I was visiting Mr. Bremer when...
But anyways, even with these problems, the thing is that the positives of this game greatly outweigh the negatives. Just like it was the case with RDR2 or The Witcher 3. Those games also had some really big problems, but they are still some of the best games ever made, and I feel the same about this game as well. Crimson Desert is a unique and unconventional game, and it does things differently. Some of the things are frustrating, but at the end of the day, what matters the most is that this game has been crafted with passion and love. The devs wanted to deliver something that the players would want, not the investors, not the game journalists, the players. Crimson Desert was initially gonna be an MMORPG, but they turned it into a single-player game. Meanwhile, all these creatively bankrupt Western AAA studios are chasing trends, pumping out safe and sanitized corporate products, checking DEI boxes, and just focusing on shoving microtransactions over everything else. I mean, can you even imagine Ubisoft or Bethesda or Activision or Sony making something as ambitious and crazy as Crimson Desert? Not in a million years. Simply put, this game is literally everything that the Western AAA games are too scared to be. And the wonky control scheme, the complexity, and other small issues are just a byproduct of that ambition. And that's why even though I hate some aspects of this game, I love it for what it represents. And most importantly, I love it because it's insanely fun to play. And while I completely understand the player frustrations with this game, the game journals just want to hate the game for all the wrong reasons. Jason Schreier said on Blue Sky, "I've only played a few hours of the much hyped Crimson Desert, so weight my opinion accordingly, but those few hours were so boring and soulless that I absolutely did not want to play anymore. Feels like a game designed for people who just want to consume content. What are you even on about?" In the recent years, Crimson Desert is the only AAA game that actually delivers some decent quality content. But anyways, let's take a look at what he had to say for Avowed. "Pleased to report that I love Avowed, the latest RPG by Obsidian. I expected strong writing and combat, but what surprised me and kept me wanting more even after 40 hours is the exploration. Everywhere you turn, there's a secret treasure or rooftop to climb. It's dense and full of life." So he's basically praising Avowed for the exact same things that Crimson Desert probably does infinitely better. Then there's Rock Paper Shotgun, who thinks that the game needs a big bucket of yellow paint. And don't even get me started on the IGN review, because that outlet is a f***ing joke. They gave Crimson Desert a 6, and just in case you don't remember, they gave Star Wars Outlaws a 7, Dustborn a 7, Highguard a 7, Concord a 7, Ghost of Yotei an 8, Assassin's Creed Shadows an 8, Dragon Age the Veilguard a 9.
So, I'm non-binary.
And not just that, the same guy who reviewed Crimson Desert gave Avowed a 7 and Outer Worlds 2 an 8. So according to them, all these games are better than Crimson Desert, which is just f***ing stupid. There's no other way of putting it. They complain about the puzzles and the boss fights being a pain in the ass, but isn't that kind of the whole point? The puzzles should be puzzling and the boss fights should be unique and challenging, and this game trusts the player's intelligence and doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't spell everything out for you. There's no Atreus or Mimir going, "Maybe you can shoot that water bucket down to activate that mechanism." And I love that, because there is nothing more satisfying than figuring out something on your own, using your wits along with the tools and the mechanics the game gives you. So the hate that these people are trying to manufacture against this game is just pathetic. And what's extremely satisfying is that this coordinated attack on Crimson Desert is certainly not working. But of course, it's nothing new. The same thing happened with Black Myth Wukong and Cellblade. Not to mention that most of these so-called critics didn't even finish Crimson Desert before writing their reviews. Yet they sat on their hands for like 2 weeks waiting for Bungie to drop that little event for Marathon before saying anything about it. It really shows the double standards and the bias of these game journals now, doesn't it? And let me tell you something, the other upcoming Eastern games like the Godslayer, Ananta, or Blood Message, they will face similar backlash. Simply because these people cannot handle a good game if it doesn't come from a big Western studio or align perfectly with their specific worldviews. But anyways, I'll leave you at that. Do let me know in the comments down below, have you picked up Crimson Desert yet, or are you still on the fence? If you're already playing, how many hours have you put in and what do you think of it so far? Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. Also use the hype feature so my video gets more exposure and my small channel blows up. I would really appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, until next time, take care.